Oh, good, you're here. Come on. This is the centre of performance. Whenever there's a top performance in New Zealand, it all comes from here. That's Lisa Carrington. She's been doing that for days. That's the boy who got the hole-in-one in Taupo. Oh, he did it again. Hey, Fern, how's the performance going?
Top tier.
Nice. This is our Generate room. In here, you'll find our top performers helping Kiwis maximise their KiwiSaver investments. Get in here, Finn. Maximise.
Right,
Generate. Putting performance first.
Linda Vagana, welcome to my podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dom. I'm just admiring how flash this place is.
Well, only the flashes for my queen.
Okay, now you're pulling my leg.
Hey, it's wonderful to have you here. Linda Vagana, 64 test Silver Fern, one of the best who ever do it. Goal keep and goal defence, once described as one of the most feared Silver Fern defenders. And we've been chatting for like the last 10 minutes. This is the first time we've met. What does that mean, one of the most feared Silver Fern defenders? Because you couldn't have been more lovely.
Oh, you're so sweet. But if you chuck me on the netball court and if we play any kind of match, whether it's cards or, any kind of sport, I think I'm quite competitive. No, actually, that's a lie. I'm not quite competitive. I'm super competitive. I don't know where that comes from because I think I'm really nice. I think I was always the person that if there was some uproar at school, I'll be the one in the middle trying to, keep the peace.
Yeah.
Keep the peace. But because of my size, my height, everyone thought that I was the one that would be the aggressor.
And
But I'm not.
A sport like netball, which is, for the most part, a non-contact sport, how can you be one of the most feared? What makes someone feared in a non-contact sport?
Look, I think if you enter the game, I always have this, there's this face that I put on. It's almost like smoke coming out of your nostrils. I don't really care about the crowd that's watching. I'm not going to be affected by it. And I just got to go hunting. And what I'm hunting for is the ball. I might, actually not but you might be in my way. And that's probably where the fierce comes out of. You might be in my way, but I'm still going to storm through.
In your career, you played with Irene van Dijk in the Silver Ferns. You also played against her while she was playing for South Africa. Did you ever? I had your great friend Bernice Meni on the podcast, and she talked about how sensitive Irene was. Did you ever make Irene cry when you played against her?
Do you know what? This is where the peacemaker in me comes in again. I do recall, and I remember having Nolene in the team, and there was a few of my Pasifika girls who were shooters. There was the Belinda Collings and the Donna Lofhagen who were all shooters. And I remember when she came into the team, and Yvonne was coaching at the time, she said, "I'm rooming Irene with you." I went, "Oh, sweet, yep." And I think for anybody, I would not have liked to be in her shoes at that time. She came in at a time where, the team were sort of at a changing guards situation, and there were some of my friends that were let go in the team, including Nolene, and Irene was coming in to replace them, all of her own merit, of course. But it was a tough sort of coming in from representing South Africa and then living in New Zealand and becoming one of New Zealand's top shooters now. But she was just another person. She was just another teammate. And I think Yvonne made that move because I was probably the kindest that would be there.
The kindest?
The kindest to support her off the court. On the court, though. On the court, especially when she was playing for South Africa or any team that that we played against each other. And I was just in there to get some ball.
Because Bernice was saying Irene was incredibly sensitive. There'd be things that would happen, like the opponent or the opposition team would do something good and she'd applaud them.
That's right, she did. I forgot that. That's right.
For someone with that sort of DNA, who's trying to shoot goals and you're trying to snatch the ball away from her, I'd imagine that'd be quite distressing for her at the time.
Well, you've just reminded me that she used to do that. I actually had forgotten that she would get a goal in, she'll clap every time. I'll get an intercept off her and she'll clap and she'll say, she'll make comment about great intercept. And the reason I think why I forgot is because I didn't want to listen to her. So stop being so nice. You're trying to put me off my game. I'm just going for the ball, so go away. And then off the court, you just changed again, and you were friends again.
Yeah, just that ability to switch on and go into almost like an alter ego, I guess, like beast mode.
Yeah. It's like, Beyonce's Beyonce, and then when she's Sasha Fierce or whatever her stage name is, she turns into, she's so sweet. She's so, when she's not performing, she's a mama. She's got a family, but when she's on that stage, she's somebody else. So I guess it's like all my drag friends, they're all different personalities when we're all together, and then when they're in that costume and they have that mask on, they become something else and they go for it on stage. And I guess that's the same mentality as an athlete. You're a totally different person on the field.
Yeah, I suppose someone that springs to mind from the Pacifica community is like one of the greatest rugby players ever, Sir Michael Jones, who was the Iceman on the field.
The Iceman.
Loveliest man ever off the field, but a complete badass.
Yeah.
Don't mess with MJ.
Exactly, that's a true example. He is still the nicest person. Often the last time I saw him was at a Pacifica, Moana Pacifica choir show that was on at Spark Arena, and we sat next to each other, and he had elderly from his community that he had paid tickets for and also sponsored the event sitting on his row, and I was sitting with Dad, and the whole time he was just nudging me, going, this is so cool, and just celebrating Pacifica and how it's evolved in our music.
I might have to use you to get him on the podcast at some point.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is going to be such a fun chat, Linda. There's so much to talk about here. There's the netball stuff, which we've cracked into already. But then there's this incredible 20-something year career you've had post-netball with Duffy, Books and Homes. So there's a lot to unpack. How's your calendar looking today? How's your schedule? Have we got time?
No, we never have time. I sort of slide into everything just on the minute before.
Yeah.
But just before this, I was at a cafe talking to kids from Carmel and from Carmel College, and just trying to work out dates that we can all meet up and finish off the netball season after coaching. And this was my first year coaching a high school team. I've always been in the space of developing sport, and particularly netball for Pacifica. And those pathways are, I don't know, that's another whole conversation, but life is busy, but it's also good. You're always up and down, but I always find being positive and knowing that I haven't been placed here by accident, and anything that I go into, there's a reason for it, and that's just how life is. It's cool like that.
You just love service, eh? From the research I've done, like you've just got the sense of community, and your whole life is about giving back.
It is. And, oh, God, this is where the choking moments are. I promised myself that I wouldn't cry, but I can't help it.
We got tissues if you do.
Can you see my eyes are welling up with tears already? No, I'm not going to cry. But I think it's understanding, and it's even more vivid now when you see communities that have been displaced, not only in our own country, but you see, everything that's happening in Gaza and with Israel, and not only that, all across the Middle East and parts of Asia, it's really hard to imagine that you just have to lift everything that you owned, everything that you possess, and walk away from it. And I believe that's what my parents did. They were both single. They were both targeted by their family to leave Samoa and search for a better life. I think they had met already in Samoa, but had come to New Zealand at different times and met again, and then had us. But it was for a better life. And, their life, I grew up in a home where I thought we were so rich. There was, in the 3-bedroom home in Massey, West Auckland, there would have been any given time between 12 to 17 people living in our house. And our garage was a makeshift room for all the boys. And that was such a rich life. I didn't know any other life. And so Mum and Dad, we saw every now and then they would go off to work. We had cousins, uncles, aunties that were our mumties and our uncles and older cousins. And everyone left, got married, left and had their own families, but they all still come back. And I think that's just the life that I picked up. And whether it's service, I think the main thing that drives me is that I've had the opportunity with the Silver Ferns, and it was a great opportunity. I've had the opportunity to coach at international level, and that was beautiful too. It was me going back to the roots.
Yeah, and you got some serious results too. We'll get into that later.
It was great, but I just wanted everyone to experience what I had. And that wasn't just from family, that was from strangers who saw that my family were busy, weren't engaged in the sport life that I had. But saw that I could go far, and they would pick me up every day from home, from school, from uni. They'll take me to training, they'll take me to a tournament, and I was always brought back home safely. And I think that's where the service comes from. You know, you surround yourself, and it's all you know. It's the only other thing is to give back. You know, Polynesia is a communal. We're very community driven. We're very socio-centric as a whānau and as a community. That's life is big.
Yeah. I do have one question, and I hope this isn't ignorant, but I'm genuinely curious. So that Samoan sort of household dynamic where there's like say 15 people or whatever from the family in a 3-bedroom household.
In other societies it's called overcrowding.
No, but is that done out of necessity because there's not enough money, or is that just because you're so family centric you all want to be under the one roof?
I think it's both. You know, you come to New Zealand, you are representing a family, you're representing a village, and it's a community. And so when you come to New Zealand, you are supported by everybody that's around you. You can't forget that. And so there's the urgency always to bring others with you. And you always try and approach everything together. And so, you know, Mum and Dad at any given time were adopting people, were bringing individuals to work in the lines of factories, and we worked hard. Well, I didn't work hard, but they worked hard. But I was so spoiled. I don't think I grew up cleaning a single thing because I had these 20-something-year-olds who had come from Samoa. They did all the cooking. The boys all did the cooking. So there was no sort of gender. You know, boys do all the cooking in Samoa, and it's only just changed in the last decade where, you know, women are starting to show off their own cooking skills and, you know, trying to adopt all what is cuisine in our Pasifika food. But it's just the way we lived, and they brought everyone up so that they could give back to their own families. You know, the amount of funds and paychecks that were taken each payday and then sent straight home, so that you can build your home, you can build your own home. That's just the way that life was. It was very communal, and it was a collective environment where we all helped each other. But it's such a paradox because in some ways it's also very hard.
Well, it's a lot of people sharing one bathroom.
It is, and that's what it was. And you know, we didn't have to put a schedule up. It just you had different shifts. People worked graveyard shifts. You had your day shift, and often, you know, I could remember a cousin of mine who had to look after us, getting us ready for school in the morning because everyone left or people were coming back, and some started afternoon shifts. And I could remember my young sister complaining about putting a dressing gown on to go to school, and that was one of the cousins thinking, "Oh, I've got to keep you warm. Put this on," not knowing. Oh, shame, you made us wear a dressing gown. And if we answered back to them, you know, you got the little whack on the ears. And so we would walk to school with these clothes that, you know, no shame. You just kind of lived with it and kept going.
What were you like as a kid? What was what was the most trouble you got in? So your mum was a seamstress, your dad was a minister, so very religious
Oh,
upbringing.
you did your homework, brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you ever a bad kid? Ever go off the rails? No.
Oh, I can think of a couple of times where not of my fault, but following some friends along as we do, along a path that I shouldn't have, and I can remember getting the odd whack on the ear. But all of us grew up really scared of doing any wrong because we knew that our dad would growl us off, or you always were afraid that you might get the hiding. I mean, the hiding to us was probably the whack around the ear, the slap on the bottom. That's what we were afraid of, and so we did our best not to be in trouble. But I can say that my brothers really tested my parents.
Are that your brother's older than you?
One is older than me, and I'm the oldest of Mum and Dad's kids. I have an adopted brother. He's the oldest, and I have a half sister who is Dad's daughter, and then I have an adopted brother who I brought back with me from Samoa. Cool. So we're blended siblings, but man, we're so close.
Yeah,
we're tight. We're all so tight.
And why netball? Out of all the things you could have done, why did you gravitate towards netball?
Because they have a cool uniform, Dom. They're short dresses, and in my skinny days, I looked okay in one.
Is that what it was?
Honestly, it was. Yeah.
It wasn't like
I was not allowed. I tell this story all the time when I'm visiting schools with Duffy books and homes with work, and. I played a lot of sport until I started high school, and my dad, who was a teacher himself, he received a report from one of my teachers. I think from one of the teachers. It was my favourite teacher too, and the grades and comments from the teachers weren't very good, and I tried to hide the report, but it didn't work. And being scared of my dad, I did try to tell him that the D's meant did really well, Dad, but. that was connected with a little slap on the ears, and I wasn't allowed to play sport when I went into high school. I honestly wasn't, but I was grounded actually.
Because you had to focus on your studies.
I had to focus on my schoolwork because I was not a smart girl. My brother, he was the smart one, the one that was a year apart with me. He was a year younger, and I loved sport. That was the only reason I went to school. 2 reasons. Playtime and lunchtime, because I'll be in the PE shed throwing out every equipment you can think of: basketball, softball, netball, volleyball. I loved tackling the boys because I was, taller than my teachers. Everyone thought I was a teacher at one stage. And sport was the main reason I went to school. It was where I found, real comfort. It was where I meant something. I was always captain of something. And I had some great intermediate teachers who not only supported me with my sport, but they really pushed me in my schoolwork. But, when you're a kid and you're 11, 12, 13 years, you don't really listen to them when they're trying to tell you that education is really important. But at the high school I attended, I sort of broke the rules, and I did okay with my reading. I did okay with math, and Dad said I could play one sport. Looked at the back of the school office, and there was a netball dress hanging up there, brand new uniform. I went, that's what I'm playing. I want to look good in that.
Oh, so that was the draw card, that it wasn't like a hand-me-down, it was a brand new
uniform. Brand new uniform. But I loved netball. I mean, I can remember, when you were a kid and you didn't worry about what you were wearing, it wasn't about brands. And I don't know what you were like as a kid, Dom, but my mum was a seamstress, and you already alluded to that. But she would sew my clothes, and she would go to all the op shops and just find bargains for us. And you never complained about it. You just thought, wow, new, cool. And she must have found a box of different coloured pleated netball skirts. Do you remember those? This was before dresses. Yeah. The netball skirts were pleated, and she got me a different colour for every day of the week. And so I think I kind of had already developed a love of these skirts.
And were you immediately good when you started the netball? Did you get really good really quickly?
I think I was already really good at other sports, and gymnastics was one of my favourite. And lucky for gymnastics, if I was not because gymnastics, you've got to have a strong core. You've got to be able to carry your own body weight. And that was probably the sport that developed every muscle in my body to be a good netballer. And it just came naturally after that. And had to work really hard to be a better netballer.
And you make the Silver Ferns when you were, is it 22, 21, 22?
Yes, about 20. Yes, I remember quickly celebrating my 21st and then going off to Amsterdam, of all places. So we went to La Hague, to the Netherlands. I was still very young, didn't know much, but I remember seeing, and I'll always remember this, I remember seeing people of colour in the Netherlands, but they weren't speaking English because I used to watch these American movies where everyone had an American accent that was black or coloured. And I was so shocked. I had no idea that the world was this big. Travelling, amazing. Opened up my eyes.
How do you find out you've made the Silver Ferns? Like, do you get a phone call? Was it a radio announcement?
Back in my day.
Did they send you a letter? Yeah. A letter in the post?
Telegram. Back in my day. I think the first time I found out about the Silver Ferns, you used to go into a camp as a squad, so it might have been about 25 girls, or around about that number, and someone from Netball New Zealand would come in at the end of the camp and name the players. And you either celebrated or you kind of tried to celebrate because you were in the room with the others that didn't make the team. They quickly changed it after that because it was awkward.
It sounds like New Zealand Idol or something where this group's going through, this group's not.
Yeah, it was awkward. I can remember, luckily I made the team, and I remember being really happy, but then I saw some of my teammates that weren't, and I realised then that they didn't make the team. So that quickly changed to still having, again, a squad training, and if you didn't make the squad, you would receive a phone call. And so I remember telling my dad this, and this was the day of call waiting, and I said to Dad, 8 o'clock is when the coach is meant to ring me if I've made the team or not. Well, him and my brother played a prank on me, and they rang up at 8 o'clock. And then I heard, once I realised it was them, I heard the phone actually ringing. I could hear the call waiting beep. So I've got to go, and I realised then, I had an inkling that I probably didn't make the team to World Cup. But that was okay. I mean, it was hard. It was tough. I can remember being lost for a little bit, not knowing what to do, but you just keep moving forward,
Oh, was that after? So you made the team in '93.
'93,
and then you didn't.
And then there was the '95 World Cup.
Right.
And so just before that, I got dropped.
Yes. Yeah, so what happened So you made the team in '93. What happened in '94? And how did you come back from that disappointment? That could have a lot of people could have crumbled with that, right?
I think I did crumble inside. I crumbled inside, but I also had a dad who was he's pretty camp about most things. I think in '94 I was playing in different tours. There were several tours that were happening, and closer to World Cup. And I went to the World Games. That was my first experience, sort of being part of a team that played Australia in the final. And I remember we lost. I came back. So I still hadn't been, I wasn't really on the court, but I was sort of on the fringe of the team. And come World Cup, they brought some of the senior players back in. And I remember someone calling me, they're playing South Africa in the final. And Irene was playing. And I can't remember where. I think it was Birmingham actually. They won that World Cup, and it was pretty cool. It was the first time I'd ever seen New Zealand not win the gold medal. But I carried on playing representative netball, and I was playing also for what was then the Coca-Cola Cup, National Bank Cup, where you had all your sort of, it was kind of like the franchise teams now in the ANZ series. So I was still part of those teams. And that was a good thing. It was something to still be involved with. It was hard. I think I went back into just a mode where you wanted to quickly assess and then move on. And I picked up what I liked to do about training. I hated training. I hated running. I was not a runner. You could not get this body to pound the pavements. But I loved the gym. And so I found something that I really liked that would keep my fitness up and get me fitter. And I was able to make the team later, back in 90, I think just straight after World Cup. There was a tour and I made the team.
Yeah, 'cause then you're in the team from 95 to 2002, like 7 years. So you came back. You came back stronger, without a doubt. But yeah, I can't imagine how tough that time. How was your mental health over that time, like 94, when you're in the Silver Ferns and then suddenly you're not?
Well, you're brought down to earth really quickly, and when you have siblings who tease you.
Is that like your siblings' love language?
Yes,
roasting.
Yeah. We're really good at roasting each other. You kind of get. I mean, I had my brothers going, "Oh, they're going to pick you," or has been,
Keeps you grounded.
I'm looking at them going, "I'm sorry, when did you represent New Zealand?" But I think the other thing that keeps you grounded is, it's an experience, and you got to see it that way. Our faith, we are Christians, and we were brought up in the church life right from day one. I can always remember church was something that we woke up for every Sunday. We were involved in church youth group. We were part of. My dad was a minister, and so life just kept moving on. Nothing else stopped. Netball stopped. That was only a part of my life. Yeah, it was sad and that was hard to go through. But I think, if you don't go through life without the bumps on your head, and don't experience the struggle that you go through, there are other parts of your life that are amazing. And rejection is hard, right? When you realise the next day, it's like losing a gold medal by one goal. That hits you, I think, more.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that.
But those are bumps along the road, and I truly believe that if you don't. I think a lot of times when I see my nieces and nephews, I'm a mum-tea, by the way, and when I see my nieces and nephews, I don't want them to fall. I'm constantly behind them when they're walking up the steps, or I see them crying and I want to be the first one to go and grab them. But sometimes you just got to let them be for a minute and let them just go through that, so that they know when life gets hard as they get older, there are other parts of your life that you can be proud of, that you can be happy for. I had amazing parents. I've got amazing siblings. It was hard. It was hard, Don. I'm not going to lie, but I think my faith really kept me going in the sense that, God's put me in this place for a reason. And I'm not going to lie, I probably was surprised when I was named first in the team. And it's like anything, when you achieve something, that is the beginning. When you graduate in something and you celebrate it, but that is the beginning of life as an adult, as a working human being. And it doesn't change. It's all part of life. And, you can get to 50, 60, 70 and you can still have bumps on your head.
Yeah, you've said so much good stuff there, Linda. Like, you don't actually learn anything from the successes, and the wins. All your learning comes from the bumps in the road,
Living
or the
through
adversity.
It. Yeah.
Although it's shit at the time,
though. It is. I can remember people saying, "What are you going to do?" And I'm like, but even the question, that comes from someone's soul asking that question, because they believe in you and they see that there are other things that you can do. And I always feel like I do need to be asked those questions, because it just wakes me up. As much as it's hard to think what I'm going to do next in life, because it felt like everything was just over. But I was, I feel like God puts me in a place every time when I don't want to be there too. But this is the step up to something amazing that's going to come out of this. I was very fortunate to still be part of a university campus crusade for Christ on campus, and at that time that I had been dropped, I was asked to be to help fundraise and be part of a mission team to Fiji. Well, we had, I can't remember, I think we had to raise like 2,500 each. And I sent out a few letters And I remember getting some funds to help me, and then I had something like $800 to raise, and I didn't know, and it was the day before, in the mail, not direct transfer because that didn't exist back then. But in the mail, I got home that day, and there was an $800 check in my letterbox. And it just, things like that happen for a reason. And I had to go to this mission trip, and it was good growth for me. Just took my mind off netball, came back again, focused on training, being a better person, and you just go forward. Who cares what's going to happen? I didn't know if I was going to make the Silver Ferns team. That wasn't my goal. I just want to be a better netballer.
It's such a good attitude. It's very evident already, like what role faith plays in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, massive.
It's huge.
Massive.
It's huge.
And now your family, from what I can gather about your family, super supportive, but never came to a lot of your games?
No.
Why?
Mum and Dad were when I made the team, they had just been accepted at a Presbyterian church on the shore, and so in the words of the Bible, they had a flock that they had to look over. It wasn't because they didn't want to. I think they could feel my nerves when they would be at a game. But even when I was at representative level, representing a region, whether it be Harbour or West Auckland, Dad hardly came to my games. He might have sat in the car. In fact, he was sitting in the car when I first got named in the Silver Ferns squad. And to him, okay, that's cool. It was, fabulous. Don't show off about it. This is only, again, I think that's where I get the calmness is from Dad, because Mum's different level. She was banned from the netball courts. She made me cry after a club game. I think I sat in the car and she gave it to me. How could that ball just go past your face and you couldn't even lift your hands to it? Did you know that? Jump, ball, blah, 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 blah. Someone's just catching a ball right in front of your face. And she went off, and I was crying, and I was thinking, damn, this woman is something else. And so I never told her. I basically had amazing people that would come and pick me up, and it just eventually evolved into them not coming. There was an odd occasion where we were playing at the ASB arena, and I had some good friends that I played with. They got the box for ASB, and they said, bring Mum and Dad, and I brought them to that game. And then it was really just siblings. They found out that I was playing. That's what it was. If they found out that I was playing locally, because I'd just be doing my own thing, get my gears ready. Bye!
That's cool. They were super supportive, though. And,
super supportive.
There was a story, I'm not sure when this was, but they dropped you off to a Silver Ferns game or the Silver Ferns Hotel in the red station wagon?
That was my first, yes, the station wagon. That was a hand-me-down, and my brother came with me, Mum came with me, and I think and Lengi came with me, my youngest sister. I was rooming with then captain. That was how things worked. If you were a rookie, you were the newest rookie, you would room with the captain.
God, that's so intimidating.
So I was rooming, and Julie. Now, I'm saying Julie twice because my memory is trying to work out what her last name was. I'm so sorry, Jules. But it's Julie.
It's like 30 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. So she was my roomie. My manager had told me, this is where your bed is, and all I saw was my black netball dress, and it had Vagana on it, my last name. And me and my little brother do this thing where we just kind of this is my little brother that's passed away. Where we put our arms together and we just kind of shake our arms.
Like a happy dance.
In excitement, yeah. And we came back out. Okay, control yourself, Linda. We came back out, and the car wouldn't start. I was like, oh my gosh, everyone's on the other side of our hotel rooms. So we had to push the car out of Allenby Park until it started, and then they went on their way. It's a little bit embarrassing, but we laugh about it still.
Yeah, was it embarrassing at the time, or were you not overly embarrassed at the time because you're so proud of your family, you love your family so much, or was it still embarrassing?
No.
I'm trying to think if it was me, I'd be mortified.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I probably would.
I think I had the shame. Because
But you could see the funny side of it immediately.
Yeah, we're really good at laughing at our own mishaps. I think that's how we survived, to see the funny side of it, and that's how we've always been. But I mean, my nieces and nephews are so different these days that they get mortified for the tiniest of things. Oh my goodness! The fact that I turn up to their school, they're so embarrassed. I don't know if it's embarrassment, but just the fact that we're there at their school.
But it's a really, really healthy space to be playing in, where you're not embarrassed about stuff like that. I wish I was more like you.
Why? You are. Dom, I see you laughing all the time.
Oh, no.
You enjoy life.
I would be now, but I'm just trying to think if I was your age and I'd made, say, the New Zealand cricket team and I got dropped off by my parents and the car broke down, I'd be just mortified. Mortified.
I think because that was my car, that was my hand-me-down, that I was so proud of that car. I mean, there was the windscreen wipers only had one speed, and so if it was only just sprinkling, it would be going crazy. And so, I was proud of my red ute, station wagon, I mean. But it was the hand-me-down from Dad, and you just were proud that you had it. It took you from A to B.
Sometimes.
But we pushed the car. It made this funny noise. They were off. I walked back to my room. I looked at my dress, and I was just so... It was surreal, that I saw my last name there. And even training, I just treated training as... it's like when you start a job or your first day at school, your first day at college, you got no friends. I was very fortunate that Bernie was in the team, but I didn't naturally draw. I wasn't drawn to my Pasifika girls. It was a moment where I just had to really absorb it myself and see where were the little clicks. Where did I sit in all of this? But the coach, who was Lynn Gunson at the time, Lynn Parker at the time, she came up and said, "You're here because you deserve to be here." I don't know if she remembers saying that, and I just held my head up and okay. And it wasn't until I stood in my first test match, and that was when Mum and Dad were there, that I realised, singing the national anthem, that I was one of 12 girls that were selected, standing on the transverse line getting ready to sing the national anthem. And I think I just bawled my eyes out. One, because of the TV camera, I could see it. So I was, doing the side eyes that it was coming up. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be on national TV. But secondly, I realised that I was representing New Zealand, and I was more proud that my parents were there. So funny,
that's so cool. That is so wonderful.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and you mentioned your brother before. I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but yeah.
My brother?
The one that passed away. What happened?
He went into the hospital with a sore tummy and went into cardiac arrest while on the operation table. I think he had made some choices in life. He was super ambitious. He was in property investment. He had just completed his MBA with Massey University. He had 5 gorgeous kids, just bought a brand new, beautiful home. And then somewhere down the track, with all his business ventures, alcohol had played a huge part in his life. Just all sorts of pressures he'd put on himself, and that all led to just not taking care of himself. And I think it's a big issue, challenge for all our Pasifika men. And I don't know if it's just men generally. They tend to see themselves as the provider for their families, and because they can, they go all out, in the hopes that their kids will survive. Sorry, try not to get all emotional about this.
Getting emotional is okay. It shows that you care.
Yeah,
Hey.
but Dom, I do it all the time. Like, I'm just talking to a group of funding partners about the way kids are. Literacy is something that everyone should have, and 30% of New Zealanders at the age of 10 can't read. And then I'm just like,
Have you always been
tears.
emotional?
No, only for the things that I really care
Right,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, and those are the triggers when I talk about my family and my brother, and when I'm so proud, so proud of them. See, I'm choking up already.
They're great occasions to be
They are.
expressing some emotion.
They are, but it's because I think too, and I've really had to think hard why those moments trigger me. But it's because I just want them so hard to do well, because I see myself as being so fortunate to have been a Silver Fern. That was that's one of many things that I know that I can do well.
Yeah.
But it was a great feeling, and I want everyone to know what that feels like. And it's not necessarily, something as representing your country, but it's representing your family. You can get a scholarship, you can do really well if you work really hard. You can, you can represent Samoan, the under-10s for rugby league in Auckland. I mean, those are all huge celebrations, and I love and want people to feel that all the time.
I got to correct you. You weren't just a Silver Fern. You were a great Silver Fern.
Oh, I was okay. I was like, Dom.
You mentioned going into the captain's room in the black dress, being on the bed. Have you got any of them? Have you got one framed and hung up somewhere, or?
I'm really bad, but the last dress that I have, my niece borrowed it for book characters last week. So I came second. I think it was the Moana dress from Timu didn't arrive on time, so her second option was my netball dress. So I was up against Moana.
Yeah.
So yeah, her mum rang me and goes, she really wants to wear the Silver Ferns dress, and she looked amazing in it. She's 8.
Wow. So how many have you got? Did you get a dress for each test, or?
Yes. So you always got, for a new tour or a new series, you always got a new strip, and and with that you also had your other apparel, whether they were your sponsors for your shoes or for your the casual wear. You always got new gears for tours and tournaments.
Tracksuits and things.
Yeah. So if it was Canterbury or Adidas, you had your playing strip, your number ones, and you also had the gears that you kind of trained in or walk around in. And so some of us who were fortunate to have some labels that were sponsoring us, and I was very lucky to have Nike behind me for a very long time. It became the joke of our family that our whole family was sponsored by Nike. So I would wear something once or twice, and then it would be, the thing about being Samoan is, or Polynesian for that matter, is that everyone's the same size. And I just liked baggy, so that fitted anybody. And Dad was a golfer, so I always made sure that I had the odd, I've forgotten his name, Sharky was his nickname, the golfer.
Greg Norman?
Yeah, Greg Norman.
Yeah,
so
the Great
he
White
had a
Shark.
brand.
Yeah.
He had a brand, and so I'd always make sure I'll bring the odd T-shirt for Dad. Or Tiger Woods was sponsored with Nike, so I always made sure he had the odd shirt. And then I would see all his minister friends wearing some of these hats. I was like, Dad, can't do this, Dad. So it's definitely sharing and caring in our whānau.
Oh, that's awesome. But what do the black dresses mean to you when you see them now? Do you have one on display, or is that not humble enough? Is that too showy?
No way. Yeah, that's a bit too showy.
Is it? I feel like that's Pacifica thing, eh? Like,
I think so.
being
well, I don't know, because some Pacifica are really proud and they'll really show it off. But I think it's just that, it really shows up on who and how you were brought up. I think putting it away and being silently proud of it is another way to deal with all the joys in life too. And I don't think any way is a good way or bad way. That's just how I am. And if my friends know me, that it's always about everybody else, and because that's how I roll.
Yeah, it's up to the individual, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about your medals? 3 silver medals for the 1999
Oh my gosh.
World Cup and the 1998 and 2002 Commonwealth Games. Where are they? Are they in a draw? Like, please tell me they're not in a sock drawer.
I don't.
You don't even know where they are?
I might know where 2 are. They might be with the. They might be with the Queen's Medal, but. The team at the office always joke about this because they go, "Where are you?" And I know they're in the box, safe somewhere. Sometimes the kids borrow them. Well, I don't know. Are they there to
be shared and enjoyed?
You know, I think it's just nice that a kid or a family member can be holding on to it. Because what am I going to do with them?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Might as well share it.
It is a good point.
At least I know there's a photo of me wearing one somewhere.
You're so indifferent about it, eh?
Yeah. They're great. They're great things to hold on to, and it's great to be acknowledged. And I think if some kid can hold it and feel something with it, that might be a game changer for them. You know, tomorrow they might see life differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about these 3 medals. So the 1999 Netball World Cup. This is where the Silver Ferns made it to the finals.
Yep.
And you were leading for the first 3 quarters.
Yep.
And then you got beaten in the last quarter, and you lost by like 1 point.
Yep. That was the story of my life for about a good 10 years.
Yeah. Was it how long? Yeah. How long did that play on your mind? How long were you seeing sort of replays of that?
For a good while, that hurt badly because even in '99 we were. We were the team to beat, and we were playing at home. We were in Christchurch for the World Cup. Probably, I don't know. That week that I went back to work, it was tough. But you got straight back into work again.
It was tough in what way? Because people were bringing it up, or?
No, because I could still feel it. I could still feel the hurt. You could, yeah. I try not to let it fester to the point where it festers and it could really hurt you. And anything like that in life, that's my approach to it. You know, okay, so it happened. You got to grieve. You know, you got to have that grieving moment. But I try not to let it determine anything in the way I feel. Like, I'm not going to let it win, but the best I can take from this is just remember the paths that took me there, and why the result was like that, and what can I do better? Can I do better? I've assessed it. The hurt will always be there. But I was in the job at AUT trying to get young people into, further education, and that was my goal again. So, you just got to find the next thing that you need to do. You're only, and I hate saying life is short, but you only have that one moment to maybe impact 1 or 2 people, and you got to keep going.
Such a good attitude. So I've had Laurie Mains on the podcast, the All Black coach, just recently, and
Yes.
the '95 Rugby World Cup where the All Blacks got beaten by South Africa in extra time in the final. He said he still thinks about that quite often, like 30 years on. I had Shane Cameron on the podcast. He said after he got beaten by David Tua, got a hiding by the Tua man, he thought about it every day for like 7 years.
I spoke about that, and I said a little bit to Shane Cameron at a function for David Tua celebrating his, I think it was a Hall of Fame for Auckland boxing. And I remember saying to Cameron then that was an era when that fight happened. That was the time of the tsunami, and we had lost over 200 lives in Samoa. And I remember looking to Shane at the back and saying, you might remember this moment because you lost and the way that you lost. But David Tua was carrying a whole nation on his shoulders, and it must have been tough for David. He really needed to win that, and he would never have had that moment to lift Samoan people if it wasn't for Shane. And I hope he really understood the role that he played. Yes, it was a match, but it was also a match that just lifted the spirits of a whole nation of people.
I'm
It's
sure
full
that
on.
made Shane feel
I
no
don't
better
know.
at all. Well, I'm pleased I got a higher if it uplifted the spirits of
I
the...
mean, it was
It was
a huge
emphatic.
loss,
Ooh,
right? It was a huge
yeah.
loss, but I was
Yeah.
trying to make him feel better about
Yeah.
it. Did it?
Oh, no,
It did
that's-
mean a lot to a lot of other people.
It's a wonderful way of framing it. So the Commonwealth Games, 2 silver medals, 1998, 2002. 1998 in Kuala Lumpur. That was a special one because it was the first time netball was in the Commonwealth Games.
Introduced into the Com Games, yeah.
Yeah, also the first time rugby sevens was in the
That's
Commonwealth
right.
Games. Did you go to any of those games? That was a
We
stacked
did.
team, eh? Jonah,
We did.
Cully,
Oh my gosh, yes.
Rushy,
was still playing.
Dallas Seymour. Julie
Dallas,
Seymour.
Yes, Dallas and Julie.
Is it Julie Seymour you were talking about before?
Yes,
You couldn't
no,
remember?
it wasn't Julie
No.
Seymour. It was Julie, not Townsend either. Oh my gosh. It was a really easy last name. Forgive me, Julie.
Never
Sorry.
mind. But Commonwealth Games, what was that experience like?
Amazing. I was thinking to myself, if this is what it's like to get top athletes representing nations all around the world in the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games must be pretty close to it. Just the protocols and processes of teams entering, all embarking on and moving into this big area in some big city. And the first one was in Malaysia. So netball was not a sport that's played. It's not an international sport in the form that every nation plays it, like football. We had courts that had to be specifically drawn and built for netball, and a few other sports were like that. But it was just, I was admiring all the Jamaican athletes, track and field, whilst trying to remember that I was actually there to play netball too. But even your own teammates representing New Zealand, it's amazing how we're just human. And when you come into an environment where you're there with, like, Valerie Adams was there, and you had the Sevens boys, you had the cricketers, because the cricket was also an introductory sport that time. And then you had your usual track and field. You saw not only the superstars of your own country, I saw the Samoans, and I was immediately connected with them because I saw some netballers. You saw your own Pacific nations. So the little community just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And for me, that was the best ever experience. I even, everyone was fangirling and just everybody. Even in the New Zealand team, you could see all the New Zealand athletes all going to get photos with each other. I remember Dame Valerie coming up to me and saying, "Can I have a photo with you, Linda?" And I was so trying to be cool about it, as we do. But I was like, "Sis, I want a photo with you. I want a photo with you." I was too scared to ask you.
But she was young at the time, right?
She was young.
That was the beginning
She
of
was
her
young.
career.
It was the way that she came up to me, and I was up to her shoulder. That's how much taller she is. But gosh, she's just beautiful. And then there was, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think, our track and field. So there was Valerie, who I really admired, and then there was Beatrice from Wina, who was just a superstar. She'd already won gold medals, and she was carrying she was our flag bearer for those games. And you just saw each other as, you didn't want to approach them because they're such superstars. But underneath, we're all just human, and we just love the fact that we were fanning on each other. It was a pretty special moment.
And this is sort of pre-cell phones, so I suppose it was like an old school camera with a
Yeah,
film
I had about 6. I bought a 6 camera special. Those
disposables.
We did have Fujifilm as our sponsor, but I loved the disposables because if you lost it, then that's okay. You didn't lose anything expensive. But I had 6 of them that I took with me, and to be honest, Dom, they're still the photos that I have, and because they were put in albums. Whereas the digital ones, you never look at them ever again. They just go into your
phone library.
Yeah, the library or in the cloud, and you never look at them again. But my albums, it's those Commonwealth Games and some of the tours that we took with the Ferns that I've still got photos of because they were all my disposable cameras.
Did you meet or have anything to do with Jonah? So Jonah's breakthrough Netball World Cup was 1995. I think by 98 he was still playing in the sevens, won a gold medal, but I think he was dealing with severe kidney issues by then.
He did.
But he was a big star.
He was a superstar. Yep. I have a photo of, we were all in the same block of the sevens and the netball girls. We all kind of pass each other to and from training. And there was one time I think we might have got Julie to get the boys to come in and have a photo because we were next to the sevens boys. But I remember it was just an admiration of all these elite athletes, and you were amongst them. And it was something that was really hard to explain to my family. The first thing I spoke about was the food hall. Never mind the athletes, but it was the food hall. The fact that you could walk into this place that was 10 times bigger than the normal mall food hall, and you could choose types of food. And, you'd get people from other nations who went straight to it wasn't about cereals and bacon and eggs. Some countries went straight to the heavy stuff, the rice and noodles. And it's like, and I was trying to be all professional with my toast and boiled egg. In the end, I think I just did what was right, what I felt like eating.
Yeah, over your career as an athlete, did you ever struggle with like body image or public scrutiny?
Every day, even now. Because I was always the biggest, and Mum always made my clothes because from the age of 5, I think I was already from intermediate I was already 6'1". So already, I think there was a lady at church. I remember one of our leaders in the choir, and she said to me, "You hold yourself so well." And the fact that she said that, from that day, I just always stood tall, had my head up, and would walk like that. Be proud of, you are representing your mum, your dad, your grandparents, that you've got your height from your grandparents. And so, regardless of, there was a little joke in the team, especially when I was with Bernie in the Silver Ferns, that we were the over 90 girls because everyone else was much
over 90 kilos.
Much lighter. But we were the over 90 girls, and it was because of that we had, that we would be clocking it in the 10-metre sprints and the strength. And so whenever it came to strength and conditioning and testing, Bernie did okay. I was never the best at endurance, but everything else I would make sure that I sassed everybody and everything else. And that was my strength. That was, I could never understand, why do I have to run this far when I'm only working in the first 15 metres of the court? The first 10 metres of the court. But my strength was in my power, and believing that, I think really believing that was probably what... matching that with some of the thoughts that were coming into my head. I'm always the one that's an XL. I'm always the X girl. I did struggle with it, but it took me ages to embrace that because I always saw myself as big. And even in photos, school photos and with netball. But that was all taken over and covered by the fact that, I'm a good player. I'm a good netballer. I've got to keep striving for this. And there were times that I felt, at the lowest when people would tell me that I was not doing well or I didn't receive any, positive feedback from coaches and players. Those were really quiet times for me. But you really had to, I would go into my Bible quotes, and that's what kept me going.
Yeah, so this is like pre-social media, so there was none of that. But how did you deal with like media criticism or public criticism?
I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I stayed away from it.
It's great advice. Like, don't read the comments. But it is easier said than done, eh?
Well, it depends. I'm not very good at socials now. My whole family roll their eyes at me because I'm going, oh my gosh, I just sent a photo. How do you delete it? They all roll their eyes, you know. I've only, and this is the truth, Dom, I just went and did a week of travel around Wairoa, and then I also went up to Northland and did from the Cape down to Awanui, which is just out of Kaitaia, and I took lots of photos, did some videos, and I did only my second ever Instagram post since I've had Instagram, and I've had Instagram for a number of years.
Oh, you're going to be terrible at sharing clips from this podcast, aren't you?
No, because this serves a purpose, and you know, if anyone can be encouraged, or if anyone can support the work that we do, whether it be in netball or with literacy and education and learning, then put it out there.
Yeah, by the way, I'm looking at the clock. We've been going for almost an hour and we haven't even touched upon...
that's because you ask me questions and you're not stopping me. You gotta go,
No,
Linda.
No, it's amazing. But I do have a card about that. We want to get to the stuff because it's, yeah, a lot of high-performance athletes sort of struggle with that, I suppose, the void in their life or the emptiness when netball finishes. But you sort of fell straight into this new thing, which has been a wonderful 2-decade career, which we'll get to in a second. But
I'm not saying the void wasn't there, Dom.
Yeah.
It definitely was there.
It was?
It was. But it was finding that, you know, whatever made me a great athlete, you know, is threefold, and that was my faith and me being physically active as an athlete, and also my mental state, and that all came together as me being a Christian. That's. And even if you're not a Christian, there is a greater being that, you know, we know there's good and bad. And what's good is knowing that there's a greater being in there that wants you to be the best that you can be while you're on this world, because we don't know what's after this when life is over, when we die, because that's inevitable. And so we got to really focus on the time that we're on this earth to... It might be hard when you're just being uprooted from your country and you have bombs living around you, but you can still be positive that you might have your kids or your siblings or family around you. And there might be a moment where, you know, food is hard, but provision of food will be somewhere.
Yeah.
And just got to keep thinking positive about it.
So 2003, New Zealand Order of Merit for services to netball. Yeah. Where's that today? Is someone wearing that to dress up at school?
I know that's somewhere in the cupboard.
But you've got
Dom, I know that's somewhere in the cupboard, but
no, you've got a really healthy attitude to these things, like sharing them around and not being too precious about them. I don't know, not that there's any right or wrong, but yeah, how do you get that? Do you get a phone call, someone asking you if you want it? Do you just read about it in the newspaper?
How do you get it? I think Netball New Zealand were the catalysts of putting... There's a profile that you got to build, and that needs to be submitted to, I think it's the Governor-General. And I had finished from the Ferns and from any netball in New Zealand and moved on to help one of my role models, which was Rita Whatialofa. I don't know if you'll remember her. She represented New Zealand in 2 codes of softball and netball, but I just thought, wow, that lady looks like me. That's a nice, something cool to aspire towards. But she was coaching Samoa and had lived in Samoa and said that, it'd be really cool to come in and help out. And she handed over the reins to me after I had retired from the Ferns, and I went and played 1 year for Samoa. In 2003, and then coached after that. And that 1 year was the year that the Silver Ferns won. In my head, I was like, good one, Linda. You could have stayed for 1 more year. Like that one eats me quite a bit because I'd left that year. Bernie had left.
And you left on your own terms?
I did. Yeah, I was. Mum had not been well. I wasn't really enjoying netball with New Zealand anymore, and I really felt a draw towards helping Samoa, and that was good. It was good. I'd still had all my friends who were part of the English, Jamaican, Ferns, and every time I came up against them at that World Cup, it was cool. but I was just wearing different colours. I was still playing a sport that I loved.
So that was the World Cup. So Silver Ferns won.
Silver Ferns won.
Yeah. How do you feel? Because I'm guessing a lot of the girls are your friends, so you're happy for them.
Yep.
But
I was like, damn it. I was like, girl.
It must be a strange feeling, like you're happy for them, but also you gutted.
Yeah, I was. But Samoa had reached its best performance.
Fifth or something?
We were top 5.
Yeah.
Like, never had that happen. So, and, Anna, myself, Rachel Rasmussen, and some young girls who I'm still friends with now, we were all part of history in that team. And, I remember Ngawa Lofa, who was part of Samoa Netball. She'd written an article in the Samoa Times about me, about the conch shell calling me back to my roots. And when I read her article, I was just like, I'm representing my parents, and that was the best thing. And my parents were more proud of that moment that I played for Samoa and then went into coaching than I was with the Silver Ferns, because I was in a place that was familiar to them, that represented our heritage, and that will always grab me right here all the time.
Yeah.
Powerful.
And then you went on to coach Samoa for like 9 years.
Yeah, loved it.
What were you like as a coach? So we established that you're one of the most fearsome players of all time.
I was scared, Dom, because I've always, been in a situation where I only had to focus on myself, and getting myself to a certain level, getting me mentally ready every time I was in tour or playing with the Ferns. But now, taking on the coaching role, at that time, it was pretty scary. I was like, what the heck am I going to tell these girls? And it was strange. The feeling was so strange. And from the moment that we had trials, I'd had 5 Silver Ferns coaches. I'd had, and one of them was Yvonne Willering, and Yvonne was my last coach as representative and club. And I didn't realise that I had the ability to draw from 5, 6, 7 amazing coaches and take the best from, Mike, and take the best from all of that learning. And it just happened.
Were you a tough coach? What were you like as a coach? Were you a tough coach?
I think if you spoke to any of the players, I was just another chick that was part of the team. I think there was a time when I had someone come up to me and said, "You need to relax. It looks like get that carrot out of your bottom," is what they said to me, and just relax. And I went, okay. So whatever that meant, I think I might have been a little too serious as a coach, and and that was at a Commonwealth Games. I think it was at the Melbourne Commonwealth Games. I'd taken Samoa, and I was coaching at this level because I knew, and I'd had the coaches, but I really needed to connect better with the girls. And once I did that, we had a really good team. We did really well at that Commonwealth Games. I think we came again, maybe top 5 or top 6 at the Com Games with that team, and it was a good team.
Unreal. So what's your involvement with netball these days?
I am, I'm working with a fabulous small team with Ana Senio and Romana, and we're working with Moana Pacifica. So you've got the Moana Pacifica rugby team.
Incredible season.
Awesome season.
Yeah.
And that's just been a great catalyst for the work that we're doing at grassroots level. Just bringing in pathways for our girls who might not see the path of representing New Zealand as one that they will go down, but that they can see that representing a Pacific nation might be an option for them.
Oh, like a more achievable goal.
Yeah, well, more achievable, or they might see both. And they can take the best from it, from either one. And I think, I think netball at the moment has, it's got great access. It's got everything going for netball at college level. But I think after 18, it's not so strong, and pathways are a little blurred. So this is an opportunity just to have girls play against their peers, see where they're at. This Saturday we're going into the Moana Pacifica Secondary School level team will be playing at a Pacifica Rim series, where you'll have your Tongan, Samoan rep teams. You'll have a team from Australia representing Pacifica. And that's, again, we're just trying to get girls to love the sport and see that there's something good that can come out of it, and they can be better players as they represent their school teams, but they can also represent at Pacifica level.
Do you get some sort of FOMO now? Like when you played, it was completely amateur, right? There was like no money in the game, and now there's a bit more money and a bit more sort of opportunity.
Bit more money.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Do you get a bit jelly?
I don't know. Maybe. Not often.
Nah.
Not often. We were on contracts when I had left netball. Not a lot. I mean, I'd always make the similarities that what we made in the year was probably what an All Black made in one test match.
Yeah.
to make comparisons and compare apples with oranges. And now it's we've all achieved something from the parts of those that have gone before us, and it just keeps getting better if the right people are at the helm. So I think for me it's always been, how do I get girls to experience this? This is such a great path in life, to use sport to see the world and to educate yourself and also see the joys of winning and failures, successes, and I think sport is a great way to grow, and it's a great way to be busy. You can keep a lot of kids out of trouble if you've got them in the sporting space.
Yeah, and friendships for life as well. Like we've mentioned the great Bernice Minnie a few times on this podcast. She was in the same chair as what you're in just a week ago recording a podcast.
I love Bernie.
She said, she'd phoned you the day before and you guys had a phone karaoke session.
We did.
Well, how often do you guys speak?
Well, a lot.
So you just call each other up when she's driving home from work and you're driving home from work and you just sing songs? Or?
Well, no, not all the time. I mean, there's the odd occasion where we might see each other. Recently she was coaching St Mary's, I was coaching Carmel College. Before the Upper North Island Secondary School, she rang up and said, let's have a game. I said, okay, that's cool. I love that idea. 2 Catholic girls' schools, let's get in there and have a game, get all the cobwebs out before we all go into the serious stuff with Eunice. And netball's been the connector. Netball's been, that glue that's held a lot of us girls together. And then there was the odd milestone, and this one wasn't a milestone as such, but the news that came out with Dame Nolene Taurua, and
your old teammate.
Was our old teammate, with her being stood down as the Silver Ferns coach. Again, that creates conversations amongst all your friends. Everyone's trying to find out what's happening, and we're constantly trying to save what we keep saying to each other is we're trying to save the world, Bernie. Just keep moving forward, keep doing what we're doing. That's what we can change. And I think, shine your light. And then she went, this little light of mine. So we were singing away, giggling. So, yeah, we can do that because we can.
Great. Yeah, what's your take on the Dame Nolene thing?
I was out of reception, being up north in a beautiful home, Airbnb, and the news came through, and another netball colleague who I was travelling with had shown me the screenshot that someone had sent her, and I actually thought it was AI, someone was playing with this. And when it came to light that it was true, the first thing that came to mind was which players are the ones that have, having a revolt against the coach. What has the coach done? And there was so much speculation. We were doing all sorts of scenarios, myself and Michelle. And number one, definitely handled terribly by Netball New Zealand.
100%.
That's number one. And number two, regardless of who was at fault, I just thought everyone's human. This is a situation that is not foreign to me. I was part of the team when there was talk of the same kind of thing happening to Yvonne Wollering. and people are hurt, will be hurt from this, be it the players, be it the coaches, and a whole organisation. A sport that I absolutely love, which has made so many things for me, created so many opportunities for me, is at, it's got its head up there, and somebody is going to be blamed for all of this. So, yeah, that was my instant reaction. And we can't jump to conclusions, albeit it's natural for us to all start finding who to blame for this and who's involved in this. But I really do feel for Nolene.
Oh, she's done so much for the sport, hasn't she?
She's proven herself time and time again. And, some of the comments that are coming out on the media space, you don't know what to believe, but it will sort itself out, as it always does.
To survive as a player in high performance sport, do you need to be pretty tough, fairly resilient? Assuming that's what the issue is here, maybe
that's like a life question, though, Dom. I think at the primary level, our kids are pretty resilient. I mean, you've seen that happen so many times when there's been trauma or tragedy. Our kids are so resilient. In professional sport, I think if you are a person that is well-grounded, you have a great support around you, you can get through this because there are so many other things in life besides netball. It's just a chapter of someone's life, professional sport. There's only a few that can keep going and going, like our superstar. She's doing so well right now with netball, and Nolene is a person that I hold in great regard as a coach. But we will see where this will lead. And I also know. What's her name? She's just come in. My brain. I've just had a brain fog. She's just come in to take over the team. Liana and Yvette. My recall was really good then. I'm not suffering from menopause too badly.
Got a set of menopause.
Oh wait, that's another thing. Yeah, they're amazing people themselves. So that it's hard for them too, and I hope that people aren't. They're not being ridiculed for taking this over. They are both Māori women who have taken on the spot. Who have taken the spot of another Māori figure, another sister, and this will be hard for them, but, they're in there to ensure that our girls are looked after, and number one, that the sport's being looked after.
Thanks for sharing those thoughts. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So you finished playing with the Silver Ferns, and then I suppose you're feeling potentially a little bit lost about what you're going to do, and then you go to Bernice Mini and Dion Nash's wedding on Waiheke Island, and this sort of changes the course of your life.
Yeah. Yep. I could say netball and education have been a huge part of my life. But I say that in the sense that I don't also want to be a hypocrite in the space of education because I don't have a degree. I think I keep telling everybody I am, a daughter of immigrants. I am a netballer, I'm an auntie, I'm a daughter, and I'm not a graduate though, but I went to university. I went to 2 universities, and I worked for those universities, started every degree that you could think of. I honestly did. I started every degree, everything that was glamorous I started with. And, as law set up for me, I probably didn't have the best setup or preparation going into those, that I never really finished one. But I got some really good learnings from all of those papers I took, and I went to this wedding.
Why do you bring that up? Is it like a sense of shame? Are you embarrassed that you don't have a degree?
I think because everyone that talks about success is measured differently, right? And for me, it was a sport. Sport had measured my success, and that had created so many opportunities for it. And then, you also have education and academia that also, in a big way, that also measures success. I just celebrated a niece who did a conjoint degree and did really well in a field of engineering as a woman and commerce, and we celebrated that to the T. We had the nines out, and and she's the oldest of my brother that passed away. She's the oldest, but that's how we measure success. Having an education background, having academia, letters behind you, representing the country, being on television, right? So I do mention that because I don't have a degree, but I do work hard, and that's what's taken me ahead. And it wasn't my forte, and I tell that to lots of kids. I was not a good person to study. I was always hands-on. You give me anything to cook, you give me anything to put together, you give me anything to organise, and I'll get that done. But when I had to put my head down in that quiet time to do study, that so wasn't me. I found it hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
But I don't want kids to be, I keep saying that to all the kids that I talk to, that some have a pathway that is along academia, and some have the pathway that's along sport, music, anything. We are all talented, but there will be one thing that you'll be good at, and that will just open the doors for you.
Right.
So, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't have a degree. I've never been to university. I've got some friends that have got a degree, and they sort of say it's just a useless piece of paper now.
But do you have a inclination? Are you inclined to go and study at some point? You don't think you need to?
No, probably not.
Because you're good at other things. You have a podcast, for goodness sake, named after you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but anyone can set up their own podcast.
My gosh. No. But I've been told that yours is one of the best ones.
One of the best.
There you go.
Yeah. So you're on Waiheke Island. You go to your best mate, Bernice Minnie's wedding to Dion Nash. And this is how you get introduced to Duffy Books and Homes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the story there?
Well, I was always a role model. So the Duffy Books and Homes program, its focus is on inspiring a love of reading. And so the work that they started back in 1994, I can remember going out as a Silver Fern with all the boys from the All Blacks, into schools and just giving out books and showing the value of books. And Irani Clark, I can remember Irani and a few of the other boys all telling stories about being brainy. Their dad would tell them that if you want to be brainy, you have to be able to read books. And so we did that work, and then it just kind of, we let go of it. I never thought of it again until the wedding. I met Bruce Plested.
The Main Freight guy.
Yeah, who is the executive chair of Main Freight, a very successful New Zealand company, global, I should say. And I again was mentioned about the Duffy, the conversation around Duffy was brought up again, and it was never mentioned again after the wedding until I think Bruce was looking for someone to take over Duffy Books and Homes. They'd had the organisation going for about, I think about 10 years. They were just looking for a change. At the time I was working at AUT with Michael Jones, about to join his team in a Pacifica space, which has always been something that's really dear to me, advancing anything that supports advancing our Pacifica people. And I was really excited about joining that team, potentially joining his team. And I had also helped Mum with a training establishment that she had received funding for to get people skilled in textile and in sewing, and they would finish with a qualification. Bruce rang while I was at work and said, "I want you to consider this role." And I freaked out because I thought there's no way that I would be able to look after a team of 6 people.
Yes, the job's manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to be sitting here doing the work that I'm doing. But my brother, Sonny, the one that passed away, he was the first person I called. And he said, you do that anyway. That with the work he's trying to get you to do, that's what you do. And just because it's got this title, since when has that bothered you? And I rang up Bruce the next day, and that was only after I got 2 of his messages that, Linda, you need to call me. Don't be afraid, which I was. I don't know how he realised that I was.
Why were you afraid? What were you scared of?
Like anything, because it's a step up. We were always so...
Out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. We're always scared to step up, and that's all. I think that's just life in general.
But
some of us are really good at, backing ourselves up. But for me, everything's kind of naturally fallen, and this was the first time really that someone who I didn't know very well was offering me an opportunity.
But if someone smart like Bruce Plested has the belief in you, doesn't that...
I didn't realise who Bruce was, really. I knew that he was someone that had quite a lot to do with books and homes, and I had known a little bit about main freight then too. And to be honest, powerful people have always been someone that I've always revered and would never see myself in the same room. And it's taken time to get used to that, walking into a room where, not everyone has the same hair as me, same bright flowers on as myself in my hair. And that's always been something that I've found challenging. But over time, I've really embraced it and realised that actually I'm supposed to be here. I've seen too many times, and that's just from life experience, too many times I've seen that I am the one that is holding the flag for someone that looks different. So it's my time to tell my story.
Your time to shine.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about shine, but it's time to share that story and be a part of the change by sharing what life is. And this is how we've had it. It hasn't been the rosy story like everyone thinks it is, or the rosy time that everybody thinks it can be.
Yeah, when I said your time to shine, I sort of meant like shine as and just be as bright as you can.
Yes. Sorry. I saw it as shine.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So I just thought to clarify that. Your time to shine is and like don't dim yourself, don't make yourself small.
Absolutely.
So I believe you straightened your hair for a number of years and you've only let it go curly recently.
Yeah, COVID, we can blame that on.
Right. But it's good. You should lean into who Linda Vagana is and be 100% authentically you.
And it's taken time, Dom, to be
that
person.
I think it does.
Because you so often are afraid to meet who you are halfway, and that's purely because we're so afraid of rejection. And I've had that a lot in my life with not just netball, but with the many failings that we've had in life. But if you can embrace it and have a path that is drawn out for yourself, where you can just think, actually, everybody goes through this, but it's up to me how I deal with it. And that's why I say it's only something that I've really been proud of, because I see everybody else being proud of it too. I get to go back to Samoa. I speak 50-50 fluent in my language, in my mother tongue, and I love speaking te reo. I don't speak it fluently, but words are similar as most Pacifica words. The language is similar. And we're just proud. I think a lot of people are starting to stand up and be proud of who you are. And imagine if everyone could be like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think hits me the most, is that our young people, they're so smart right now, because there was a time when we didn't have social media influencing us, but right now their brains are just full of everything, and to a point, so I sometimes think that's what drives them to do what they do. I feel like they need to find out for themselves.
Absolutely. So, General Manager of Duffy Books and Homes for 22 years. When is the 22-year anniversary?
I think it was 20 years last year.
2003, though. Was that when you got the job?
2004.
2004. Okay.
20 years last year.
When you started, did you imagine being there 20 years later?
No.
It's a long shift.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But I recall going into a couple of leadership programs with New Zealand Leadership and Global Women. And, you know, the word was, every time you do these courses, life changes. And I was waiting for those moments to happen. I was leaning in as much as I could. But I suddenly realized that actually this is so rewarding. You know, this is what I was made for. This is what I represent is, you know, creating the space and networking in a space where I can bring people together for a cause that is uplifting our young people, that they might have a path to start them off in terms of literacy.
Yeah. So for anyone that's like, what are you guys on about? Duffy, books and homes. Yeah. What is the core mission of it? How would you explain it to someone that's unfamiliar with it?
It's inspiring a love of reading, and creating a message where without reading, you know, without creating a love of reading in the small minds, that they will be growing up to be individuals where they are not literate, you know, and I talk about this to young kids, that everything around them is about being able to read, from prescriptions on, you know, your med pack to signs on the road to travelling the world by knowing what you're reading when you're filling out the application to opening your bank account. Life requires you to read. And life is also teaching us to be independent. So if you cannot read and you don't have the power to be able to read, and books are not in your home, you know, I always quote Ellen Duff, it's a bookless society, and that's tough when everything around you is about reading. So you're on a back foot in starting life if you are coming into an environment of learning and you aren't able to read. And I have seen too many times individuals in the workspace who, and generally most of them are Māori and Pacifica, who have found a way to mask their ability to read and, you know, have not been able to see the world as everyone else has because of the barrier of not being able to read.
Yeah, I can't begin to imagine how small your world must feel, or how isolating it must feel if you're unable to read. The things that you mentioned before, like road signs and, you know, pill boxes or whatever, just day-to-day reading, not even books per se. So what do you guys do? You give away books?
We give away books.
Yeah, like how many?
So
how many
I don't know if you recall Lucky Book Club. As
I
a
do.
child.
I do.
Do you remember? Tell me your feeling. Tell me how that felt. So you would receive a brochure, you put your order in, and then?
Yeah, well, Mum and Dad would usually say, no, we can't afford it. But on the months I got it, when the delivery arrived, it was awesome.
That's how.
It was brilliant.
That's how.
Foundational memories.
Yes, and that's how a Duffy kid feels 3 times a year at the end of every term. I always tell the story that I would receive these brochures at Lucky Book Club, and when all the books arrived, because my parents, you know, I told you earlier that we had so many people live at home, everything was about the necessities. So having books at home and ordering books on the Lucky Book Club was not a priority, hence why I found the library. But it's like Christmas to these kids. So yes, our schools and our teachers and every learning environment is about ensuring that our kids can read. But we come in from a space that is the icing on the cake. So we're providing the tool for these kids to see the value of a book and celebrate that feeling that you had. You know, when the books arrived, you can go, wow, these are mine. And so it's about choice, where they get to choose the brand new books that they would never have had. It's like Christmas. And then it's theirs. It belongs to them. And I hear so many times about kids who talk about the Duffy Books and Homes program and they still have their books. And that's because of that feeling, you know, probably like my medals. You get this given to you, you're so excited about it, and then you just want to share it with everybody. And sometimes you want to hold on to it because it's the only thing you own.
And the kids don't have to pay for them? It's
No.
Wow.
It's paid for
How's
by
it
the
supported?
school. So we're very lucky that we have a publisher, which is Scholastic, who have been amazing with us, and Wheeler's Books, who look after our early childhood program. The books all vary from around $5 to $7 each. Now, every book that goes into the program, into every kid's hand, is $2.50. That's how much each school has to pay. So if you've got 100 kids, you're paying $250 per book. And then the other $2.50 is covered by a funding partner, a trust, a partner that we've brought in with Duffy Books to partner with that school. And that's how the program covers itself. So we don't say no to any school. And that's just me and my board and my team. We don't like saying no to our kids. So every school that joins the program comes on knowing that they have to pay half the cost of every book and leave it to Duffy team to try and find a partner that will sponsor the other half of the cost. So obviously in Auckland you'll have your bigger roles where the cost for a year could be up to the 5, 6, 7,000s, right down to a school, say, in Waikato, in a small town in Waikato with only 5 students. Funding partners come on board, choose an area that they want to give to, and we'll connect them with the school, and they become the funding partner to that school. So it becomes like sponsor a child, over the years for as long as you want, as much as you want, you can fund the books that go into every school.
Yeah. Do you have a particular story of say a child or a school that really sticks with you and sums up why this work matters?
Oh gosh,
Is there anything that
every
springs to
day.
mind? Yeah, really?
Every day the stories come because it's also about creating the value of books through theatre. We have a mascot and his name's Duffy. He's like your regular Kiwi kid in his jeans and his cap. And we bring him to life and he goes into the schools and it's a new script every year. And for some schools, this might be the only opportunity that theatre comes into the schools. But the one thing I've learnt from, I was just up in Northland, like I said earlier, with our schools, the kids just absolutely love it. Because when is another time that they might have the opportunity to be gifted something like a book? And not every kid is going to be a reader, but we surely hope that with all the ambassadors that we send out to the schools, they can share their own success stories, but also relate the fact. And some of them say that they weren't readers themselves. I mean, I share that. I only went to school for sports, to play sport, until I realised that if I did not know how to read, there was just no way that I would have made it in life. I talk about the itinerary for training and travelling with netball. I would not have been part of that team if I was not able to read. And it's like it's not something that's on your hip. It's something that has got to be part of your soul, reading. Otherwise, you would just be lost. You'd be half a person, wouldn't you, Dom? And I think it's the solution to all our problems, poverty, not being educated, and not having the ability to learn through reading. We take in all those words and we absorb all of that in our brain. There's all the data and research and studies that have done about the connection of being able to read and being read to, and what that all means and how that all becomes part of someone's living. And, we are all social people, and being read to is all part of that connection that you make with someone. So it's a powerful thing. And if you are not able to share books that you have or to the ability to read, you're not living life the fullest.
No.
So we're the icing on the cake. That's how I see the program. There are all sorts of arguments, as you've known, around literacy. What's the best method of, especially for where we stand in literacy as a country. But at the end of the day, Duffy comes in there and ensures that every kid gets a book, and it's a powerful thing.
Is there one book in particular that you really love? Like if you could put one book in the hands of, say, every Kiwi kid today, is there one book to rule them all? What would it be? And
in my time, It was The Hungry Caterpillar.
I remember that.
See?
I remember that.
In my time, it was The Hungry...
You probably still buy that. It was
Yes.
a beautiful book.
Well, it's been translated in so many different languages. So I've got it in Samoan and in Tongan as well. But it's amazing the play of words. You know, it means differently when you're reading them in a different language. But I think one book that is right across all cultures, especially if you read it in English because of the rhyme, and that's The Wonky Donkey.
The Winky Wonky Donkey.
Wonky Donkey, yeah. That went crazy internationally because of the rhyme. And, that one picture where you have a grandma reading it to a young grandson, I think it was. I got to meet her too not long ago. That's just magic. You know, it does something for the soul, not only for the kid that you're sharing the book with, but also... when you got an adult laughing, it just releases all the good stuff.
Oh, I think it's the viral clip, the Scottish
that
lady.
One. Yeah. I got to meet her.
Did you meet her?
She came to New Zealand. I said to her, I love what you did there because you just rose, the level of reading and the level of books to another level. Mm-hmm. Just having the interaction between her and her child and her grandson. That's special.
So what does the future hold for Duffy Books and Homes? How long are you going to be there?
I have
you
no
thought
idea.
about this? You just love it.
I do. And, life has just been one where, like I said, it's the things that I love the most. I think if I find myself in the space where I've got these self-doubts, prayer is really important to me. And I also find that meditating on what you need to do in life and hoping that things will just fall into place, normally they do. If I've got something that's a huge decision that I need to make, I always find that I'm in the right place. I have the right people that just fall into place, and I know I'm in the right place. I think that's how life has been, and so I keep going, keep meeting all these wonderful people who are able to go out as ambassadors for Duffy Books and Homes. And when are you going out, Dom? For me?
Oh, you tell me.
Okay.
You tell me, Linda.
Okay.
I'll be there.
I'll set you up in term 1 next year.
Okay, let's lock it in. I'd love to do that.
That'd be great.
So you're not so much a goal setter. You just like keep working, and where it takes you is where it takes you.
I think you've got inward goals in terms of not so much outward, but I think you definitely got goals in terms of the work that you do. You know that the place that you're in there's got to be a plan in place for it to do and work really well. But the time will come where, I might not be at Duffy Books. And I think every year I sort of consider, are there other things around? And it's not like there hasn't been a lot of jobs that have been offered, but I still think that the power is empowering our kids, and this is the role that I've loved. And I'm still here. Who knows what might happen next year?
Yeah, you've done so much great work there.
I've been part of an amazing team, Dom. Yeah, it's definitely not just me. I've been part of a great team that is Main Freight, my board, and a team of people that believe in our kids.
Of all the things you've achieved, what makes you the proudest?
The proudest, I think, getting up every day. I think the fact that I can make time to look after my dad.
Wow.
Dad's got dementia. He's lived 85, going on 86 amazing years. I think I don't have my own family, but as a mumty, I think what I'm proudest of is that I have siblings who are the best. The grandkids for Dad, they're amazing kids. Everyone's at their own learning level. I think I'm proud of that. And yeah, I just love that netball's been the catalyst for so many opportunities, and I can be proud that I took most of those opportunities and made them pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
Come on.
No, pretty good, because there's never a perfect time. I think there's just great times to be lived. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about happiness, what does it look like for you now?
Happiness. that I've got things to do. You know, people say, well, when are you going to go on holiday and relax? And well, my holiday relaxing with whānau, I go looking for the kids. That's my relax. You know, I might sit on the beach in Samoa for a little bit, but I'm looking for the kid. You just want to give joy to so many people. And if they're happy, then I'm happy.
What are your fears? What are you most afraid of?
Every time I fail, every time someone says that wasn't good enough, and those have happened enough. But I talk about the fails, but the opportunity, I just see them as opportunities to not let it dictate the things that I do.
Yeah, and it's a stepping stone to success as well.
Yeah.
And you've talked about
I've got so many bumps, you know, it's not funny, but
you've had so
I
much success as well. But you can't have that much success without having
That's right.
an element of failure on the way.
That's right. And that's happened a lot.
What about regrets? Do you have any regrets?
Oh, apart from when Silver Ferns won in Jamaica, that's probably one.
Yeah, but you were representing Samoa at the time.
I know. Regrets. Oh gosh, I don't know. There's probably a lot, but I don't like to, I don't like to give them time.
Yeah.
I think my priorities are with family. My priorities are with the work that I do. My priorities are with the work that I do with Netball. And, a big part of that's at the centre is church. And, it's not a religion. It's a life that you have created as a stepping stone for everything that you do. And that's probably what keeps me going forward. And so I don't give regrets time. Otherwise, I'll be such a different person.
Who's in your household? Are you in a big bustling household?
So we sold our big family home when Mum passed away back in 2008, and then moved in. I think at different times we've always had either lived at home, lived in the family home, lived with Dad, but now we've got Dad downstairs. He's needing 24-hour care, and we call it the convent because it's only single people living in there. So, so the nuns are myself and my sister, and my auntie who we grew up with. We were born, and she was already one of the staples in our lives, Auntie Moa. And she's now 74, so she looks after us still, but we look after her more. So they're the two oldies, and then there's my adopted brother, my vanga. I say adopted because everyone knows that I'm the oldest of Mum and Dad's kids, but I have amazing, siblings who have just been part of our family, greater family. That's us. There's 6 of us.
Wow.
Yep.
Have you ever? I couldn't find a lot about you online. Have you ever been married?
No. No.
Did you want to? Has it just not
Do you know,
happened?
my mum, I grew up with my mum making wedding dresses for so many people. She was one of the best seamstress, and actually that's a regret. It's just that I don't like to, what's the word, to...
Dwell?
Dwell, that's it. I don't like to dwell on it because it was my own loss. I didn't take up her skills and never gave time to learning how to sew. But it was at a time when her and other aunties all moved to New Zealand, and they were all taught to work in the sewing factories. And she was amazing. Her workmanship was the best. And so I'd see her bring in all these young people, and she would make from wedding dresses. She made her own wedding dress and her bridesmaids' dresses. They were gorgeous. And I don't know. I don't even think I imagine getting married. I think I thought, I'll probably get married at the age of 30. And then I turned 30, but I was too busy. So it's never been a priority. And I think with most people that have been part of that part of my life have seen that my family have always been a priority, and as well as everything else that I've mentioned. And if you were coming into this part of my life, you be right at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, you're never going to be your top priority.
Yeah, I think so. But I've never married.
But never say never?
Never say never. I don't know. It's just something I've always been pretty happy with being the auntie.
Yeah.
There's so much joy out of that.
And it doesn't sound like there's nothing worse than being lonely. Like being lonely is terrible.
I know,
but
it is.
There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. A very big difference. Sounds like you're surrounded by family constantly anyway.
Yeah, and even if I'm not surrounded, I'll have my little me time, and then I'm off to look after the kids.
Yeah.
Bring them over. Granddad wants to see them. I don't mind looking after them. And I think, in the time where there is a push for I don't know about you, but I hear it all the time. You just want your kids to grow up. By 18, they're out of the house, and then, I sometimes think that for those who are grounded in the nucleus family, which I don't know what that looks like anymore these days, we grew up always being at home, and yes, we might have been pushed out the odd time. I think we were pushed out, or we pushed ourselves out because we wanted to go live life. But there was always the expectation that we would always come back, and there was a home that we came back to. And I honestly think that's what causes some of the mental health issues these days. We go through all these. My siblings and a lot of those friends and family, I would rarely hear mental health or well-being in our communities, because family is such a big thing in our lives. You do go out and you may want to live on your own, but you always have a big family that is right there, supporting. There's a new baby that's come into your family, and you just the new mum is left to go rest, and you got aunties and grandmas and great aunts who are helping take care of this child, and so you grow up with all this around you.
I love that so much, eh? I think the Pacific Islanders have got the right idea.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe,
Yeah.
but it's not everyone's cup of tea too.
Yeah, I like the idea.
That's that paradox again.
So
it's great.
I like the idea of having all that support around, but I don't like the idea of sharing a bathroom and a shower with 15 other people. You can't have one or the other, can you?
Well, we never had problems. I never had a problem with it. Well, we always had the when we lifted the house, we had an extra bathroom, put it downstairs, so the girls were always, and we, no one really bothered about. It wasn't like how we grew up. We grew up watching TV and hearing about how much time girls spent in the bathroom. But when you were in that family with 15, 16 people, you just know you're in the bathroom, have your shower, get yourself clean, come out and sort yourself out when you're out.
You don't mess around.
No, you don't. And so that was just normal. But definitely, communal, community, big family is number one. But in some, it can also be a lot of pressure. So it has those challenges.
Yeah. The people that you care about the most, and the people that care about you the most, I'm thinking your family first and foremost, but also the people that work for you or with you at Duffy Books and Homes. How would you like them to describe you when you're not in the room?
I'd say easygoing, family-oriented, understands the challenges of work-life, home-life balance, a good boss. Now they're all going, what?
Get that carrot out of your ass, sis.
What planet is she living on?
No, that's wonderful. Are you proud of yourself?
Sometimes. Yeah.
More often than you're not?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can't you got to have some things that you need to improve on. There's always stuff to improve on. So yeah, celebrate the good times all the time, and know that you just got to get straight back into it and work.
Hey, this has been wonderful today. This has been really cool.
It's been cool chatting with you. You've had some crazy questions.
Really? Like what?
All of them.
Oh, really?
I've really had to open up and think. You've really challenged me.
This is cool. How do you feel about reflecting? Like reflecting on your sporting career and your accomplishments and the highs and the lows?
I don't like talking about it.
Why is that?
Oh, because it was a great chapter of life. But there's other great chapters to be, there's other parts of my story that need to be written, if you want to reflect on the book. So, like chapters in the book, you're going to have some really exciting parts of the story. And then, yes, in every time there's a reflection part. But, you can't ever see that there's an ending to this. It is inevitable, but...
So you're constantly thinking about what's next rather than what's behind.
Yeah, yeah. I like to put that away because take the learnings from it, good or bad. And I surround myself with people that are way better than me. Because so I can just sit there and go, oh man, I feel like I'm doing nothing. That's why I think, that those parts of my life have been closed in the sense that they've been. And wow, I'm just so inspired by young people who are out there globally, our own Pacifica representatives. I'm inspired by girls in my community or in my group of friends who are just putting themselves out there. And that's where I sort of look at myself and go, what can I do better? How can I be part of this story? And part of it might be FOMO, but I wouldn't be in the position that I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in or have achieved what I have without taking that reflection piece and really looking hard at what I can do better. The challenge is always there, and it's always a hard one to take. But every time I find myself just being lazy, something happens, and that just wakes me up and goes, okay, take the step out. It's going to be hard, but you got to do it.
This has been great. I'll tell you what hasn't been great, just behind the scenes. We've had the aircon on because you run at a hot temperature.
Are you cold, my friend? I should have given you my cardigan.
I'll tell you what, I eyed it up a couple of times. I was like, I could do with that.
You need hair like this, Dom. You need hair like this, and it would just keep your back warm and your neck warm. It's good insulation.
Yeah, but this has been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Dom. I've enjoyed it. You've been cool. You've been good. Like we've been talking like we've known each other for ages.
Yeah. Oh no, it's been really neat. It's been really, really cool, and I can't thank you enough, Linda, for coming on the podcast.
Oh, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the cupcakes that I bought you because can't go anywhere without taking food with me. It's part of. We love our food.
It's in your DNA.
As you can tell.
That's one thing I've been thinking about when I look at the clocks. We've been going for almost 2 hours. I'm thinking...
Is that 2 hours? Shut up.
The girls in the office, they better not have eaten all of them. There better be at least one for me. All right, let's get out there. Linda Vagana, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dom. All the best for all your continued work that you're doing too. You're sharing these stories and, allowing people to even learn from them. And thanks for the opportunity. Thank you for doing amazing work. Keep it up. Thanks, Dom. Malo, my brother.